So today, instead of just naming the movie line is from, I want you to give me instead the line directly after. The line is, "No more rhymes, now I mean it." That's the line. What line comes after that one? No more rhymes, now I mean it. Put that in the comments. First person to get it right gets pinned to the top of the comments. And one more thing. Speaking of comments, this one, if you like today's video, or the topic of today's video, you should already know what it is, because you probably clicked on it, or you see the title. If it just came into your feed, go ahead and thank Radical Rafiki for it, because Radical Rafiki requested Kratos from God of War 3 times in the last week, which is pretty much unignorable, right? So I think Radical Rafiki also cracked the code. If you want to get a request completed by me, go ahead and spam the comments. Just kidding, don't spam them, but I guess 3 times does the charm. Ask me 3 times over the course of a week, and you'll probably get your video. So again, if you like today's topic, Kratos God of War, go ahead and thank Radical Rafiki in the comments. Alright, Kratos God of War. Kratos is the titular protagonist of Santa Monica Studios' God of War series, based on Greek mythology and later Norse mythology. He first appeared in the 2005 video game God of War, which led to the development of 7 additional games featuring the character as the protagonist. Another installment is currently in development for a 2022 release on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Kratos also appears as the protagonist of the 2010 and 2018 comic series, as well as 3 novels that retell the events of 3 of the games. The character was voiced by Terrence C. Carson from 2005 to 2013, with Christopher Judge taking over the role in 2018's continuation, also titled God of War. Anthony Del Rio voiced the character as a child in God of War, Ghost of Sparta. Throughout the Greek era of the series, Kratos is portrayed as a Spartan warrior who becomes known as the Ghost of Sparta after accidentally killing his family due to Ares' trickery. He later avenges the deaths of his family and becomes the God of War after killing Ares. Kratos is eventually revealed to be a demigod and the son of Zeus, who later betrays him. Kratos embarks on several adventures in attempts to avert disaster or to change his fate. He is usually portrayed as being oblivious to all else and is stoic, bloodthirsty, and arrogant in nature. He often engages in morally ambiguous activities and performs acts of extreme violence. Vengeance is a central theme of the Greek era, and installments focus on Kratos' origins and his relationships with his family and the Olympian gods. In the Norse era of the series, Kratos finds himself controlling his rage and learning how to truly be a father and mentor to his son, Atreus. Along their journey, they combat monsters and gods of the Norse realm, of whom they make enemies, which leads to the pair trying to prevent Ragnarok. The God of War franchise is a flagship title for the PlayStation brand, and Kratos is one of its most popular characters. The character has been well received by critics and has become a video game icon, a relative newcomer among more established franchise characters such as Mario, Link, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Lara Croft. The character is now associated with other products and has had various cameos in PlayStation games outside of the God of War series. As for his concept and design, in designing Kratos God of War, creator and game director David Jaffe attempted to create a character that looked brutal but did not resemble a typical traditional Greek hero. The character would not wear traditional armor, as Jaffe wanted him to be individualistic. Although the idea of using a fully masked character was approved, the concept was abandoned as the design seemed soulless and lacked a defined personality. Some models included unconventional elements, such as portraying him carrying an infant on his back, while others had excessive detail, such as hair and other flowing things. Charlie Wen, director of visual development on God of War and God of War 2, was responsible for designing Kratos. Wen said that his direction for designing Kratos was as much influenced by similarly themed films as it was by pop culture, which led him to conceive Kratos on a series of napkins at a restaurant, having forgotten his sketchbook, introducing the idea of the double-chained blades and eventually Kratos' iconic design. The double-chained blades were chosen as Kratos' signature weapon because they emphasized the character's animal nature while also allowing combat to remain fluid. When visualized the double-chained blades activating simultaneously as Kratos threw them with a balance of furiosity and accuracy. Jaffe said of the final version of the character, Kratos may not totally feel at home in ancient Greece from a costume standpoint. I think he achieves a greater purpose, which is to give players a character who they can play who really does just let them go nuts and unleash the nasty fantasies that they have in their head. Wen gave Kratos his most noticeable feature, his ash-white complexion, a story development that earns him the title Ghost of Sparta. Other distinctive features include a scar across his right eye and a large red tattoo that threads from his left eye, circles his left torso, and ends at his left shoulder. The tattoo was originally blue, but was changed late in production. In the series lore, the scar is eventually revealed to be the result of a childhood encounter with the Olympian god Ares, while the tattoo is a tribute to his dead brother Deimos, who had similar birth markings. Other changes that occur during the course of the Greek era of the series include the temporary addition of divine armor when Kratos is the god of war, an abdominal scar, ability-enhancing armor such as an epaulet called the Golden Fleece, all God of War 2, and the boots of Hermes, God of War 3. According to an early God of War script, the character is 7 feet 0 inches tall, or 2.13 meters. In 2018's God of War, the designers gave Kratos a more Nordic look, including a full beard. They also changed his main weapon to a magical battle axe to make the combat more grounded. Unlike previous games, players can change and upgrade Kratos' 3 different armor pieces, one of the game's various RPG elements. Kratos' appearance throughout the Greek games can be altered in bonus play, completing the game at certain levels of difficulty, and in challenge modes unlock bonus costumes. Several costumes were available exclusively via pre-order and other promotions. God of War 3, which features 3 costumes based on early sketches of the character from the PlayStation Store. Although many bonus costumes are consistent with the story themes, others are humorous or farcical, such as the female costume Athena and the Spud of War. The character was given his name at a late stage in the development of the original game, after the character had already been fleshed out. Unaware of the actual mythological god named Kratos appearing in Prometheus Bound, the creators coincidentally chose Kratos, the same Greek word meaning strength, of which the mythological figure is the personification. Stig Asmussen, who worked on first 2 games and was game director on God of War 3, called the naming coincidence a happy mistake, noting that Kratos in the game and the one in Prometheus Bound are both pawns. Zoran Iovanovici of California State University, Long Beach, observed with irony that while the mythological Kratos is best known for chaining Prometheus in God of War 2, the video game character releases him. Classical scholar Sylwia Chmielewski states that the video game character Kratos draws extensively on other figures from Greek mythology, including the heroes Perseus, Theseus, and Achilles. But his strongest influence is the hero Heracles, Roman Hercules, who appears in God of War 3 with the Romanized name and is the character's half-brother. For 2018's God of War, game director Cory Barlog explained that Kratos had to change his cycle of violence and learn how to control his rage. He said that Kratos had made many bad decisions, which led to the destruction of Olympus, and wanted to know what would happen if Kratos made a good decision. The birth of Barlog's own son influenced the idea of Kratos' character change. The cancelled live-action Star Wars television series was also an influence. The bond between Kratos and his son is at the heart of the game, and Barlog said, "This game is about Kratos teaching his son how to be a god, and his son teaching Kratos how to be human again." Referencing the Marvel Comics character Hulk, Barlog said that in regards to Kratos, we've already told the story of the Hulk. We want to tell the story of Banner now. Christopher Judge, best known as TLC from Stargate SG-1, replaced T.C. Carson as the voice of Kratos in the game. Carson had voiced Kratos since the original God of War. Commenting in response to the change, Carson said, "Sony went in a new direction." As for Kratos' role in the God of War series, on his backstory and comics, the past. Throughout the series, Kratos is portrayed as an anti-hero, often performing questionable actions. Although his backstory is seen in the original God of War, Kratos' childhood is revealed in Ghost of Sparta, and the birth of his daughter is explored in the God of War comic series from 2010 to 11. In Ghost of Sparta, it is revealed that the Oracle had foretold that the demise of Olympus would not happen by the hands of the Titans, imprisoned after the Great War, but rather by a mortal, a marked warrior. The Olympians Zeus, Athena, and Ares believed this warrior to be Deimos, Kratos' younger brother, who had a strange birthmark. Ares and Athena interrupted the childhood training of Kratos and Deimos in Sparta and kidnapped Deimos. Kratos attempted to stop Ares, but Ares swept him aside and scarred him across his right eye. Taken to death's domain, Deimos was imprisoned and tortured for many years by the god of death, Thanatos. Believing Deimos to be dead, Kratos marked himself with a red tattoo, identical to his brother's birthmark, to honor his sibling. Through flashbacks in the comic series written by Marv Wolfman, Kratos meets his wife Lysandra, and they have a daughter named Calliope. Upon birth, Calliope was stricken with the plague. In order to save his daughter, Kratos was granted a quest to find the ambrosia of Asclepius, an elixir with magical healing properties. 5 of the gods entered into a wager with Ares. Each chose a champion to search for the ambrosia, with Ares' champion being Kratos. Kratos overcame all obstacles, including, among others, Hades' champion, the barbarian Prince Alric, who eventually became the barbarian king, and thus Kratos saved his daughter. Via flashbacks in God of War, it is revealed that Kratos became the youngest captain of Sparta's army, but had a thirst for power. When Kratos was faced with total defeat at the hands of a barbarian horde led by the barbarian king, the killing hundreds in his name. After Ares tricked Kratos into murdering his wife Lysandra and daughter Calliope in a temple dedicated to Athena, the Spartan was shocked out of his bloodlust and renounced service to Ares. As the temple burned, a village oracle cursed Kratos and condemned him to wear the mark of his terrible deed, the ashes of his family, which turned his skin pale white, earning him the title Ghost of Sparta. The Ascension, Chains of Olympus, and God of War. In Ascension, it is revealed that because Kratos renounced Ares, it broke his blood oath to the god, and as such, Kratos was imprisoned and tortured by the three Furies. He was helped by the Oath Keeper, Orcos, and eventually overcame and killed the Furies. In order to completely be free of Ares' oath, Kratos was forced to kill Orcos, who begged Kratos to do so. Although free of his oath to the god, he was flooded with memories of killing his family. He then vowed to serve the other gods in order to receive forgiveness and relief from the nightmares of his past deeds, but he was openly defiant. In Chains of Olympus, Kratos was reluctant to help the gods when Helios was kidnapped, and openly abandoned them when Persephone offered him a chance to be reunited with his daughter. Kratos, however, was forced to reverse his decision when Persephone used the Titan Atlas in a bid to destroy the world and, in turn, the spirit of Calliope. Knowing that while intervention would save Calliope, it would separate him from his family forever, a bitter Kratos killed Persephone, imprisoned Atlas, and freed Helios. By the time of God of War, Kratos had been serving the gods for 10 years and had grown tired of his service and nightmares. When he confronted his patron Athena, she advised him that if he killed the rampaging Ares, the gods would forgive his sins. With this selfish motive, he again agreed, and after finding and using Pandora's box, he was successful. Despite being freed of Ares' influence, including the Blades of Chaos, Kratos was forgiven but was not relieved of his nightmares. A dissatisfied and despairing Kratos tried to commit suicide, but was saved by Athena, who guided him to Olympus. Awarded the Blades of Athena, Kratos became the new God of War. The comics, present time, Ghost of Sparta and Betrayal. The comic series also shows Kratos' present search for the ambrosia of Asclepius. This time, he plans to destroy the ambrosia to prevent the worshippers of Ares from resurrecting their former master. In this quest, Kratos overcame several enemies, including the chaos giant Sigus, before destroying the ambrosia, still haunted by the visions of his mortal past in Ghost of Sparta, and against the advice of Athena, Kratos embarked on a quest to find his mother, Callisto, in the city of Atlantis. Callisto attempted to reveal the identity of Kratos' father before being transformed against her will into a beast that Kratos was forced to kill. Before dying, Callisto advised Kratos to search for his brother Deimos in Sparta. Kratos first freed the Titan Thera from imprisonment, which caused the destruction of Atlantis, earning him the wrath of Poseidon. In Sparta, Kratos learned of Deimos' location, the domain of death. He found and freed Deimos, who remained hostile toward his brother. After a skirmish between the siblings, Thanatos attacked Deimos, but after being rescued by Kratos, the pair joined forces to battle their foe. At this point, Thanatos realizes Ares, Athena, and Zeus chose the wrong Spartan. It was Kratos who should have been taken, the mark being his red tattoo. Although Thanatos killed Deimos, the god was in turn killed by Kratos. Kratos then returned to Olympus, enraged at the gods. In betrayal, Kratos Kratos had been shunned by the other gods and decided to lead his Spartan army to overrun Greece. He was falsely accused of murdering Argos, and he killed Syrinx, the son of Hermes, for interfering in his search for the true assassin who escaped. And God of War 2. Kratos then joined the Spartan army in Rhodes, intent on destruction. Zeus, however, weakened Kratos and tricked him into abandoning his godly powers into the blade of Olympus, which Zeus used to kill Kratos. Although he overcame all obstacles, Kratos was stunned at Zeus's betrayal and swore revenge as he died. Kratos fell into the underworld, but was rescued by Gaia, banished to Tartarus with the other surviving Titans after the First Great War. Gaia and her brethren seek the death of Zeus. Kratos, fueled by anger at his betrayal, agreed to aid the Titans and was instructed to find the Sisters of Fate, who are capable of returning him to the moment of Zeus's treachery. Kratos became determined and utterly ruthless in the pursuit of his goal. He wounded a Titan, killed several Greek heroes without hesitation, and deliberately sacrificed 2 scholars, and restoring himself his god powers. All 3 of the Sisters of Fate were killed when they opposed Kratos, who was prepared to kill Zeus in a final confrontation. Zeus was only saved when Athena intervened and sacrificed herself for him. Only then does Kratos show remorse. He learned from a dying Athena that Zeus is, in fact, his father, a fact Zeus kept secret because he wished to avoid a repetition of what he did to his own father, Kronos. Kratos rejected any notion of a relationship and vowed to kill Zeus and destroy Olympus. Encouraged by Gaia, Kratos used the power of the Fates to retrieve the Titans before their defeat into the Great War, and with their assistance, stormed Mount Olympus. God of War 3. Although Kratos killed Poseidon, he was abandoned by Gaia when his first encounter with Zeus went poorly. Stranded in the underworld and now betrayed by both the Olympians and Titans, Kratos learned from the spirit of Athena, who also provided the Blades of Exile, that he needed to find the flame of Olympus, which is the key to defeating Zeus. Kratos murdered both Titans and gods, ignoring the warnings of his victims as he sought the flame. Realizing the key to pacifying the flame and reaching Pandora's box engulfed by the flame is Pandora herself. Kratos came to care for Pandora, who reminded him of his lost daughter, Calliope. Kratos showed humanity when he attempted to stop Pandora from sacrificing herself to quench the flame, but reluctantly allowed the act when she said there was no other option. Finding the box empty and driven berserk by Zeus's mockery, Kratos attacked his father. Although Gaia interrupted and tried to kill Kratos and Zeus, she was destroyed by Kratos, who then apparently defeated Zeus. Zeus returned in spirit form and attacked Kratos, who retreated to his Psyche. Kratos forgave himself for his past sins with the help of Pandora. Pandora later appeared and told Kratos that hope would save him. Kratos was revived and easily destroyed Zeus. Athena confronted Kratos and demanded that he return the power of hope, the contents of Pandora's box. In a selfless act, Kratos refused, stated his need for vengeance was gone, and impaled himself with the blade of Olympus, which dispersed the power across the world for mankind's use. Athena, disappointed with Kratos, removed the blade and departed as Kratos collapsed next to the blade of Olympus. The post-credits scene showed a trail of blood leading away from the blade, with Kratos' whereabouts unknown. Many years after the events of God of War 3, Kratos, having survived his apparent death from releasing the power of hope in Greece, ended up in ancient Scandinavia in the Norse realm of Midgard and fathered a young son named Atreus, who is unaware of his true nature. Kratos has abandoned his double-chained blades as a symbolism of abandoning his old persona. Instead, he uses a magical battle axe called Leviathan Axe that originally belonged to his second wife and Atreus' mother, Laufey, who recently passed. Her last wish was for her ashes to be spread at the highest peak of the 9 realms. At Midgard's peak, they learned from Mimir that the highest peak is actually in Jotunheim. Along their journey, they are confronted by the Aesir god Balder, the brother of Thor, whose sons Modi and Magni assist their uncle, but are killed by Kratos and Atreus. Around this time, Atreus falls ill. To cure him, Kratos must recover his old weapons, the Blade of Chaos, in order to battle the beings of Helheim, as the Leviathan Axe is useless there. While retrieving the blades, Athena appears and goads him about his past. Kratos reveals to Atreus that he is a god. The pair also receive assistance from a witch, later revealed to be the Vanir goddess Freya, the mother of Balder, who had cast a spell of immortality on Balder which protects him, but also causes him to no longer feel anything physically, which he resented her for. Kratos and Balder eventually battle, during which Balder's spell is broken. Kratos decides to let Balder go, but Balder attempts to kill Freya, forcing Kratos to kill him. Freya swears revenge against Kratos for killing her son, and taunts Kratos for not revealing his troubled past to Atreus. Kratos decides to tell Atreus that he had killed his fellow Greek gods, including his father Zeus, whose illusion he and Atreus saw in Helheim alongside an illusion of a younger Kratos from God of War 3, showing their final confrontation. But he and Atreus should learn from these experiences and not repeat past mistakes. The two then make their way to Jotunheim, where it is learned that Faye was actually a giant, also making Atreus part giant. It is also revealed that Faye originally wanted to name their son Loki, but Kratos preferred Atreus, which was the name of an honorable Spartan comrade. The giants also referred to Kratos as Farbati. In Midgard, Fimbulwinter began, and after sleeping in the family home, Atreus has a vision that Thor will come for them at the end of Fimbulwinter. In Ragnarok, taking place 3 years after the events of the previous game, Fimbulwinter is drawing to a close, and it is prophesied that Ragnarok will begin once it comes to an end. Atreus, still reeling from the revelations of the previous game, seeks answers about his identity as Loki, as well as a way to prevent Ragnarok from happening. To uncover the truth, Kratos and Atreus set out to find answers, searching for the Norse god of war, Tyr, who was previously believed to be dead. Whilst traversing the 9 realms, the duo must face new threats, including Thor, the enraged god of thunder, and Freya, their former friend and ally, who seeks vengeance following the death of her son Balder by Kratos' hands. On other appearances, guest appearances, both the Greek and Norse versions of Kratos have been featured as a playable character in several PlayStation games outside of the God of War series. On August 21st, 2008, Kratos was released as a downloadable character in Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds, along with his Clubs of Chaos. As a pre-order for Little Big Planet from GameStop, customers received a Sackboy Kratos costume along with ones for Medusa and a Minotaur, as then a guest character in 2009's Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, which includes his own story mode. As a pre-order bonus for Mod Nation racers from GameStop, customers received a Kratos mod along with his Cart of Chaos. These were later released for purchase on November 2nd, 2010. Kratos' next guest appearance was in the PlayStation 3 version of 2011's Mortal Kombat and the PlayStation Vita version released in 2012, which features his own fighting stage and arcade ladder mode. The character then appeared in the 2012 crossover fighting game PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which includes 2 God of War inspired stages, several God of War items, as well as series antagonist Zeus, who was released as a downloadable character on March 19th, 2013. As part of the God of War franchise's 10th anniversary, Kratos appeared as a secret boss battle in the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Vita versions of Shovel Knight, released in April 21st, 2015. His next guest appearance brought him back to the world of Little Big Planet in Little Big Planet 3 as another Sackboy costume, this time in his Fear Kratos form, along with Sackboy costumes of Zeus, Hercules, Poseidon, and Athena, and a costume of Hades for the character Toggle. The costume's release coincided with that of God of War 3 Remastered on PlayStation 4 in July 2015. A costume of Kratos as well as God of War custom decorations were included in the crafted edition of Tearaway Unfolded, which released on PlayStation 4 and September 8th, 2015. T.C. Carson provided Kratos' voice in all these guest appearances, except for Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, Little Big Planet 3, and Tearaway Unfolded, where the character is only a costume, and in Shovel Knight, which only has text dialogue. The character has been parodied twice in the Simpsons franchise. He appeared as the God of Worf on a billboard advertising a chowder restaurant in the Simpsons game. He later appeared on the Guts of War 2 Entrails of Intestinox kiosk at E4, a parody of the Electronic Entertainment Expo E3 in the Simpsons television episode The Food Wife. Kratos has also been parodied by Adult Swim's claymation television series Robot Chicken. He was first parodied in Season 5, Episode 15, The Core, the Thief, his wife, and her lover, where it is shown how far Kratos, voiced by Brian Austin Green, will go to collect blood orbs. Sony later teamed up with Robot Chicken to produce a marketing campaign advertisement for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale that parodied Kratos and other characters from the game. Kratos and Atreus make a cameo appearance in the PlayStation 5 launch game Astro's Playroom, where a couple of robots in the game are dressed as the pair and reenacting the two traveling in their boat in 2018's God of War. The Nordic Kratos then became a playable skin in Fortnite Battle Royale's Chapter 2 Season 5 event 0 Point, which released on December 3rd, 2020. Kratos is playable on all platforms that Fortnite is available on, marking the character's only appearance on the Xbox, Nintendo, and Microsoft Windows platforms, as well as Apple and Android devices. These platforms have Kratos' default skin, while players on the PlayStation versions get an exclusive armored Kratos based on the armor obtained from defeating the Valkyries in 2018's God of War. There is also an armor inspired by Kratos that is obtainable in the director's cut of Ghost of Tsushima, which released on August 20, 2021 for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. The top half of the armor and helmet is ash white like Kratos' skin and also features his red tattoo, while the rest of the armor looks similar to Kratos' Nordic novelizations of the game series by Matthew Stover, Robert E. Vardaman, and James M. Barlog. The novels are a retelling of the games and offer deeper insights into their stories. The first novel was written by Stover and Vardaman together, titled God of War, and was published in May 2010. The second was written solely by Vardaman, titled God of War 2, and was published in February 2013. The third novel, titled God of War, the official novelization, was written by Barlog and released in August 2018. A film adaptation of the original God of War was announced in 2015, although pre-production saw new writers get hired to adapt the game. It remained in development hell. Following the release of 2018's God of War, rumors about a potential adaptation of that game began circulating. In May 2021, however, a Sony spokesperson confirmed that there was no film or television show adaptation for any God of War in development. Let's talk about Kratos' cultural impact, starting with reception. Kratos' character has received a positive response from video game publications. GameSpot regarded Kratos as a sympathetic anti-hero and a badass, and described him as endearing due to his unforgiving demeanor, but added that the slowly developing story offered players no understanding of him in the game's early stages. IGN said he was ruthless, merciless, and savage, noting the character's main motive is vengeance, and all he desires is murder. IGN also stated that in time the player would begin to love and loathe Kratos and hate Ares. GamePro said it was Kratos' tragic fall and brutal ascension to the peaks of Mount Olympus that made the original God of War so memorable. PlayStation Universe said he was certainly a unique character and a warrior to be reckoned with, and that this iconic PlayStation anti-hero will surely not be forgotten. Critics acclaimed Kratos' portrayal in God of War, with many complimenting his more layered and relatable personality compared to previous incarnations. Forbes wrote how Kratos is a character this time, calling him fleshed out and surprisingly engaging, while IGN felt that the game transforms him from the previous game's flat embodiment of the bloodthirsty warrior cliché into someone who can stand shoulder to shoulder with some of my favorite protagonists in recent media. Similarly, Red Bull stated that this God of War reflects a new, more nuanced Kratos in that it's measured, deep, and as mentioned earlier, complex. Engadget, though admitting it was an exaggeration, wrote how Kratos is more nuanced and shows more emotion in the game's opening hour than he did in the entire previous trilogy. He was ranked as one of the best video game characters of the 2010s by Polygon staff and writer Colin Campbell, particularly his appearance, and in 2018's God of War, he retains his skills as a warrior, but is now a father whose gruff, tough-love approach to parenting belies a touching capacity for love and tenderness toward his son, and a deep grief for his late wife. In its 2010 cover feature, Game Informer also named Kratos as one of 30 characters who defined a decade. At the 2010 Spike Video Game Awards, Kratos was nominated for Character of the Year and awarded the Biggest Badass Award. He was included in GameSpot's all-time greatest video game hero contest and reached the Elite 8 round before losing to Mario. The 2011 Guinness World Records Gamers Edition lists Kratos as the 9th most popular video game character. In 2011, Empire ranked him as the 15th greatest video game character. In 2012, Games Radar ranked Kratos one of PlayStation's most popular representatives as the 18th most memorable, influential, and badass exactly an uncommon trait amongst game characters, but driven by a rage wrought from his guilt, slaughtered thousands, including his wife and daughter, Kratos kills with such convincing visceral aggression, it elevates him way beyond the status of brain-dead murderbot. In 2010, Game Guru said that practically anyone, if they hadn't played any of the God of War games, would know about Kratos. Kratos has been included on several top video game character lists. Games Radar listed him as one of the 25 best new characters of the decade, stating that while he appears at first to be a generic character, players eventually learn that he is both an unstoppable force of nature and a broken, tragic man. Knowing of the talks regarding a God of War film, both IGN and UGO networks listed Kratos as a character who deserved his own movie. In 2008, IGN listed him as one of the characters wanted for an ultimate fighting game featuring characters from all consoles and all eras of gaming. He was included on the list of the best anti-heroes by IGN in 2012. In 2011, Complex listed several of his finishing moves in their 50 craziest fatalities in video games list at 30th, 28th, 24th, 14th, and number 1 spots for his finishing moves on Hades, Hercules, Helios, the Hydra, and Poseidon, respectively. The Dairy Bastard alternate costume from the original God of War was included in UGO's list of the most stylish alternate costumes. Gamefront listed Kratos in 2011 as one of the top 5 video game characters with the biggest daddy issues. Complex ranked him as having the best fighting game cameos for his guest appearance in Soul Calibur, Broken Destiny, and Mortal Kombat in 2012, and as the 6th most badass video game character of all time in 2013. Kratos' Blades of Chaos were included on GameSpot's 15 most badass swords in video game history list. In 2016, Clixel staff ranked Kratos as 3rd most iconic video game character of the 21st century. In 2021, Hobby Consoles included Kratos on their list of the 30 best heroes of the last 30 years, while Rachel Weber of Games Radar ranked Kratos as 9th of their 50 iconic video game characters. On the other hand, Kratos' character has also been given criticism. Prince of Persia producer Ben Matz said in an interview he considers Kratos a super cool character, but it's black and white. His personality is pure rage, his dialogue is pure rage, his character design is pure rage. It's kind of easy. Jeremy Norm Scott, creator of the comic strip Sue and Chan, stated in Electronic Gaming Monthly that Kratos was average and did not exist except as an avatar for the player. In 2009, IGN listed Kratos as the 6th most overrated video game character. The portrayal of Kratos in 2018's God of War was received favorably by the industry, with new voice actor Christopher Judge earning a BAFTA award for performer at the 15th British Academy Games Awards. He was also nominated for Best Performance at the Game Awards 2018. Nick Plessis of Electronic Gaming Monthly said the story's most memorable moments were the interactions between Kratos and Atreus. He also noted there is often some comic relief to be found when Kratos' curtness and Atreus' charming naivete collide. On to merchandise and promotion. 2 series of action figures based on God of War 2 have been produced by the National Entertainment Collectibles Association. The first set included 2 versions of Kratos, one wielding the blades of Athena, and the second wearing the golden fleece and holding a Gorgon's head. The second set included a 12-inch figure that plays 6 game quotes. A second 2-figure set was also released, with Kratos wearing the God of Kratos was also featured in a line of action figures released by DC Unlimited and based on God of War 3, which included the characters Zeus, Hades, and Hercules. Between February 1st, 2010 and March 31st, 2010, 7-Eleven sold a limited edition Slurpee drink called Kratos Fury, in addition to 4 exclusive God of War 3 cups, which featured codes that would be used to access God of War 3 and Slurpee-themed downloadable content on the Slurpee website. Video game website XPlay filmed a parody music video of Robin Thicke's Sex Therapy featuring Kratos and Aphrodite, played by Jessica Drake. Kratos' visage has appeared on the PlayStation Portable Chains of Olympus exclusive bundle pack and on the PlayStation 3 God of War 3 Sweepstakes Prize video game consoles. A limited edition 10-inch figurine of Kratos was the grand prize of a sweepstakes in a promotion for God of War Collection in November 2009. A 6-inch figure of Kratos was included in the God of War Ascension Collector's Edition. In June 2014, a Kratos Pop vinyl figure was released. The same year, Sony partnered with Gaming Heads to produce a limited edition 500-unit life-size bust of Kratos. It is 28 inches or 710 millimeters tall and sits upon a Greek-inspired column. A Fear Kratos version of the bust was also produced, 100 units, that year, based on the Fear Kratos costume from God of War 3. In 2015, Sony again partnered with Gaming Heads to produce a limited edition, 1,250 units, lunging Kratos statue. The statue is 19 inches or 480 millimeters tall and features Kratos wielding the Blades of Exile. For the God of War franchise's 10th anniversary, that was March 15th, 2015, Gaming Heads produced 2 limited edition Kratos on the Throne statues depicting the final scene of the original God of War. Both statues are 29 inches, 740 millimeters tall, and the regular edition, 1,250 units, features Kratos in his normal attire, and the exclusive edition, which is 500 units, features Kratos in his God of War armor. In November 2015, Sony announced a new Kratos statue to be released the following month, which was also in celebration of God of War's 10-year anniversary. The limited edition 500 units statue made of polystone was designed by Santa Monica and stands over 26 inches, 660 millimeters tall, with details such as leather, cloth, and metal pieces. And scene. It's the end of the article, except for the see also, notes and references and citations. Let me get comfy. That was long. That was probably after I cut out all of my mispronunciations and need to look up how to pronounce things. I would say this gave us a good 40-minute video. What do you think? 45 minutes. Hey, guess what? Story time. I know God of War, buddy. I know about some God of War a little bit. In fairness, now don't kill me when I say this, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I haven't played God of War 2, 3, or the 2018 version. It's ridiculous to say, because I'm such a big fan of it. I'll tell you why, actually. I was debating whether or not I was going to tell this story. It's not even that good a story, but it's just some insight into, I'm going to say, who I was. People change over the years. I get a little bit older, a little bit more boring. I'm a little bit boring now. I just make whisper videos for people now and play video games and work and, have a pretty boring but really, really fun life. Back in the day, when I didn't have much money, I would do these things called pharmaceutical studies. This one was a cool one. It was in Las Vegas. It was really fun. And a pharmaceutical study, in short, is just you test medication that hasn't yet been brought to market, and you stay at a facility sometimes for a couple of days while they give you this medication, and they check how your how it affects your blood. You know, they stick you with needles and they draw your blood, they feed you. I actually had a really good time doing them. It was very, very fun. They would give you a few $1,000s, and this was back, well, 2005. We actually know that from this wiki because that's when God of War 1 came out. And the reason I'm correlating the two is when I went to this pharmaceutical study this one time, I did in fact stay overnight, 2 nights, and it was for, I think, a blood pressure medication. That's beside the point. It doesn't even matter. What matters is when I was supposed to be sleeping, just like everyone else was supposed to be sleeping, there was about 20 of us in this study. 10 guys, 10 girls, okay? And everyone was supposed to be sleeping. I was up playing God of War because they actually gave you a bunch of video games and movies to watch and stuff, and they kind of have people that go around to make sure you're asleep and everyone's sleeping and everything. And I stayed up. I snuck up into the little game room and I played God of War the whole night and I didn't sleep. And what that means is there could very well have been a drug that never got to market because it performed poorly on the test results as a result of me playing God of War all night. So, and I loved the game. I wound up beating it in the time that I was there, like the full 3 days. I think I beat it. Anyway, I'm going to sleep. It's very, very late right now. So, I hope you enjoyed it again. So, yeah, just to wrap it up, everyone say thank you, Radical Rafiki, in the comments if you enjoyed this. Or if you did not, say something like, how dare you, Radical Rafiki, request this 3 times. Okay. Movie trivia tomorrow. Tomorrow. The next video I'm actually releasing, for some reason, I already recorded it. I forgot to drop a movie line at the beginning, so don't expect one in there. Alright. Other than that, that's it. Thanks for everything, guys. I love seeing it in the comments. All the upvotes and the views. It's so crazy. I would never have expected to see it to this degree. But everyone on this channel is amazing. I don't mean on this channel, not like me. Everyone I consider you guys a part of this channel. You're part of this machine that's making it work, and I really appreciate how cool everyone is. And trust me, I curse in real life like a madman. I probably curse more than anyone you know, believe it or not, and I really wanted to curse there. I wanted to say you guys are so blank and cool right there. That was the real me that was coming out, but I want to make this a clean channel so everyone, including little kids, can even watch this and go to sleep. Having said that, maybe this Kratos God of War entry isn't the best entry for little kids to fall asleep to, I'm just saying. Okay? But I'm gonna go now. You hear the motorcycles out there. This is the 4th time I've said goodbye. And I still haven't said goodbye. Okay, I'm going for real. What am I doing? I'll talk to you in the comments if I forget anything. Talk to me in the comments all if you knew me. You know I'm there. Okay. Sleep well.